Today I have 3 of MVP's most recent releases, maybe a couple weeks back. I'm a little late to the party on a lot of things for hopefully the next week or two. But we have the Eagle McMahon Proton Resistor, which is actually more like a shimmery proton. I see little metal flakes or specks or shimmers in it, and I compared it to a neutron resistor, which is a basically slow Firebird. 6.5 speed, super overstable. Something that Eagle throws for most of his shots because he throws so hard. The neutron resistor, my first throw, I thought was a little more overstable. Second throw, I thought was a little more understable. So I think that they fly the same. It's a pretty stock resistor, pretty true to flight numbers. Holds over more than I expected because it's only a 6.5 speed rather than a 9 speed or faster, but still very beefy. And the feel of the Proton, I like actually a lot more than the neutron. The top is super flat. There's almost no shoulder, whereas the neutron has a slight shoulder. So for forehand, this feels great. Backhand, small enough that it still feels good, even though the wing is so high. We also have the Eclipse Vanish, which is an 11 speed. And this one, I know I'm gonna get some comments of people saying that I'm either throwing it wrong or something, because that's always what happens on MVP videos specifically. And it makes sense, MVP makes some great discs, but sometimes the defenders get a little too overzealous, because this is 11.5, -3.2. There should be no -3 turn disc that I can throw on this level of hyzer and it not flip up and turn a little bit. But this is one of them. It's very flat. Honestly, feels incredible on the forehand at an 11 speed. I just don't think it's gonna be as understable as the numbers suggest. Maybe -1.52, maybe -2.2, but we'll find out throughout the rest of this video. Lastly, we have the new stock time-lapse. 12.5 at -1.2 now instead of -1.3. And I did look at this compared to the original stock time-lapse and the version 2 and version 3 prototypes that Simon sent me out. And this, I believe, is the V3, but interestingly, I threw 2 shots with it, warming up, just like both these others to get that in it, to get this initial footage you're seeing. And this consistently went 20 to 30 feet farther than all the other time lapses, even the V2 and V3 protos. The feel is a little more streamlined, so maybe I'm just getting a cleaner release because it feels like they've dropped the shoulder even more on this, even though it looks and feels to me like it's the V3, and maybe it's just a slightly different variation, or maybe they slightly tweaked the V3 to get this final version. But pretty neutral, very good on my forehand from what I remember. I actually played the same course, 18 holes. We're gonna try to beat my time-lapse score, which I don't actually remember. I think it was 8 or 9 down. But I'm gonna do something a little different today with these 3 discs. If you watched the video I posted yesterday, I'm doing a series where I'm trying to shoot 1,000 rated at every mountain course and Denver area course before I move out of the state in December. And as a part of that, if someone beats my score, the first person to do that and email me with somebody else on their card, I'm gonna send them a disc of their choice from my bounty bin. And if at the end of the year before I move, most of those aren't claimed, because likely they're not gonna be, I'll probably do a big giveaway with at least half of them and throw the other ones in some mystery boxes. But instead of just trying to shoot a score with these, I want to kind of spread the love. So each of these is gonna have to get 3 birdies today to become safe. A bogey negates the last birdie that I got, so I need to shoot at least 9 under par to save all 3 of these, but I do get 2 off the top because it's my channel, my rules. 317 feet straight ahead there. We could go over the top. I actually love this forehand, especially because we have a right to left wind. And I think the Vanish and the time-lapse are gonna fly very similar. The Vanish just gonna be a more control version of this disc, even though this is supposed to be 2 ticks more understable. 3 times more understable if you do the -1 to -3 calculations. That being said, that's what we're throwing first. Eclipse Vanish, nice little easy forehand. I can't even blame the disc on that one. That's just a bad release. Now I am a little more scared though, so we're gonna throw the time lapse and actually commit to it. There's just something in my head about a disc that says -3 on it. And I don't have a Sharpie to change that like I did in a previous video and it worked. But there's just something about a disc that if it says -3, I can't put it flat to anhyzer. Sit. Oh, big old skip. We got a putt. We'll throw this resistor for fun and then it's 1 shot here on out, because I gotta get home to watch the baby. But thinking of that resistor as a slower Firebird might not be the best. I think I'm just gonna think of it as a super overstable 7 speed, because when I think slower Firebird, I still put a ton of angle on it. And because the wing isn't as wide, it's not as fast as a 9, 10, 11 plus speed. If you put it on an angle, it's gonna hold it a lot longer, even if it is still very overstable at the end of the flight. Gonna be a lot of getting over some mental blocks in today's round, like throwing that resistor and this Vanish. Time lapse, hopefully, is just the easy flyer. time-lapse already got a little sticker in it. Ow, why did I do that? Hole 2, they put it back in the long. 517 feet, ripping the time-lapse. This definitely goes the farthest. Got it to about 425 in my warm-ups, so I'm not expecting an eagle on this 520 footer, but I am expecting, hopefully, my first birdie. A lot of angle, a little more than I wanted. That's down there though. Definitely still feel like I'm in warm-up mode. Hopefully we get it ready before hole 18, which is a 500-foot par 4 on a mound. That would be a great one to eagle. Of course, eagle counts as 2 birdies. Ace saves the disc because aces are sick and I don't have many this year. That's crazy. All right, that was my last second shot. I had to see how that flies if I threw it on a little Anheuser. I don't trust that thing. Resistor flicking. At least I got a birdie. I know I haven't talked about this much, but if you like this jersey that I'm wearing, this is my signature jersey this year with Cardinal Disc Golf. I'll leave a link to it down in the description if you want to pick one up. I know it's getting to fall season, but very comfortable jersey. They do size a touch small. I typically wear mediums to maybe larges if I want something slightly oversized. This one that I'm wearing is a small. Everything else you see me wear is either a medium or a large on this channel. But that goes to support me and my first signature jersey. Really like how it came out this year for my last year in Colorado. 1 birdie for the time lapse, nothing for anything else, but hopefully resistor time. First resistor shot off the tee, 295-foot forehand. I'm not gonna try to really yank it over because of what I talked about on hole number 1. Slight flex, 2 flat at the tree. Let the disc do the work of skipping up to the basket. Not quite at the tree. Sit down. Down the hill. There might be a line. There's barely a line. Oh, that was hearted. But there was a branch in the way. I didn't even think about that branch when it came out of my hand. That's probably why I hit it. Hey. At least the putter feels clean, even if I missed 2 of these first 2 holes. 327 feet. I do think because this is an 11 speed, it feels easier to throw. So far, I'm giving it the preliminary flight ratings of -1.52 though, not -3.2. Cut that turn in half. We have a slight headwind, and I think I'm gonna try to throw it on a little hyzer. Not this much, kind of this much. It maybe will wobble up to flat, but I don't think it should turn. And at 330 feet, the ease of throwing this on a hyzer, I think, is the play. Jeez, that's crazy. All right, that should be like 25 feet. That might be more overstable than the time lapse. I'm not throwing a second, but we'll see through the rest of this video. Maybe it's a little head left to right, so that could account for some of it. I am very surprised with that. -1.5 might even be generous. When I saw it hit the ground, I thought it was next to this tree. I'm thinking I'm outside the circle. Nose down putts and a headwind drives the nose down, so don't do that. I do want to get some redemption with this vanish. 425 feet. We have a left to right tailwind. I'm gonna try to throw it on some Anheuser. Wow. I'm officially not throwing hard. I'm gonna have to turn that up for the rest of this video. This is shorter than I've been on this hole in a while. Oh my. As much as I'd like to blame the disc on both of those, it's not its fault. Hole 6, 243, right there. I'm not quite in panic mode. If I don't get at least one of these next 4, and I'm starting the back 9, 1 down, then I'm kind of in panic mode. Just try to throw an up and down hyzer with the resistor. Land it short because it's gonna want to skip forward because how overstable it is. If I land at the basket, it's going all the way down the hill. That's exactly what I said I shouldn't do. Unfortunate. Standstills haven't been working right now. Let's try a little stepper jumper. Yep. There we go. My steppers have not been working at all up until right now. So that's a good sign. 355 feet, 1 birdie for the Eagle McMahon resistor, 1 birdie for the time lapse, and that's what we're throwing here. I think in all the throws I've thrown with this, including in the field, it's gone consistently 30 to 50 feet shorter than the time lapse. I wonder if that's because of my lack of trust or lack of knowledge with it, but that's not something I can really adjudicate right now. I just need a birdie. Hit the hillside. Yes, I hit the hillside and checked forward, I think. That basket's on a ledge and there's a rock wall. And if you're in the rock wall, you're like 10 feet. That's clutch. I'm gonna see what happens when I throw this. My true last second shot. That is just, yeah, it just doesn't seem to want to go as far, one, probably because there's no dome. It's super flat. But I think it's like the stability of a not neutral to unstable wraith. Time lapse must have picked up and rolled off the hillside. So they're both kind of in a line here. Okay, maybe it's only the straddle stepper that's working. 2 more holes on this front 9, and after throwing that second of a forehand with the vanish, I think both of them are going to be forehand vanishes. It doesn't quite have as much fade at the end if it gets onto a stable edge, and both of these have a ravine to the right. So I can walk out of here with at least 1 birdie with the vanish and only need 2 with each of them on the back 9. I think I'm in pretty good shape. 302. Sit. Damn it. Thought I was in. Now I have a 60-footer. Those chickens kind of look like they're lined up in a naval formation. Fade. Oh. That range feels great. I should put myself there more often. I've never seen them do this before. They're diving. That's cool. Vanish again. This is the one. Yes. Oh, that was a little straighter. And I hit the right part of the hill. Come on. At least on a forehand, I'm figuring that bad boy out. If this is 12 -1-2, I think that's 11 4.5 or 4 -1-2. I already know some people are going to be telling me that MVP is too consistent and I'm throwing it wrong. Challenge you. Throw one for yourself. MVP is super consistent. Doesn't mean all their flight numbers are 100% right. One birdie with each of them, 6 holes to play, 2 par 4s that are pretty easy birdies, 2 birdies a piece that I need with each of these. Basket for hole 10 is right through there. I think we're going time lapse, and I would go up and over. We have a right to left, so I'd actually push it to the left more. But that wall of trees is actually in like a straight line. So even though it seems like if I throw it on a flat hyzer shot, I would hit the trees before I swing right to the basket, if I'm throwing the correct distance, I will not be able to do that because the trees are too far. That being said too, I'm having a hard time getting power today, and my backhand or my forehand are not coming out poppy. And I've noticed that this time lapse feels much less throwable than some other discs that have had the same flight that it has when I throw it as hard as I can when I down tempo on those discs. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's the neutron plastic. I always have a harder time with neutron popping it when I'm not throwing as hard, but it's just something surprising that I noticed. Get there. Oh, big skip. Oh, hit the tree though, that's good. Maybe it's between the V2 and V3, or maybe it is just a power thing, because when I threw the V3, I feel like when I threw it on that line, with how hard I feel like I'm exerting power right now, not how hard it's actually coming out of my hands, it would flip up a bit, and that just didn't even think about it. Oh, thank goodness. 2 birdies for the time lapse, 1 for the other 2. 357, right over there. I think I would throw the resistor here, but after this next hole, I think we have 3 or 4 good resistor holes coming up. And I might even have to throw it on one of the par 4s. You know what? I'm doing it. 357, kind of around how far I was throwing it in the warm-ups on a lot of angle. We do have a left to right tailwind. Just try to aim 50 feet right of the basket on a decent amount of angle and hope that I throw it high enough to get stable and give me a putt. Yep. 50 feet right of the basket, skip. Okay, a little short. That's pretty good. This course really wanted me to practice this distance today. I feel like I've landed at 31 feet on 6 different shots so far. Oh gosh, did not finish that putt. 358, basket, straight ahead. Now we have a head right to left. I'd have to hit a pretty specific flatness and hyzer with the time lapse to get the angle right, or I could throw a nice, smooth, not this forehand. I think I'm gonna try to throw this angle, a really touchy anhyzer, and I need to just put it on a little bit more. And as long as I don't like burn it into the ground, meaning think positive thoughts, I throw it with the right height, it's not gonna stay turned over. There we go. Right angle, right height, birdie. Yep. Just kidding. I was a little overly optimistic. All right, that's 2 out of the 3 holes I can miss on this back 9. I'm gonna need to play pretty stellar here on out. It didn't feel poppy out of my hand, but when I saw it get over all these bushes, I thought it was auto parked. Low 300s here, kind of a tunnel shot, but if I really flex over this resistor, I think that could be a good play. Backside. I think that's good. I think I'm cursed to forever be at this 30 to 35 foot distance. I do think this one is in circle 2 though, so I think we got to go back to that straddle stepper. Luckily I am on top. That is very close to the edge. Little tailwind. Yes. Oh yeah. Hey, 2 for 2 straddle stepper with the resistor. Hole 14 is 310 feet actually. Straight headwind with a little right to left. Nope, straight headwind. It looks like they took down a tree. So the gap looks more open than it's been before. I think it has to be the resistor. With this headwind, I can't throw it on this much anhyzer. I need to be just a touch of Annie, but it can't be no Annie because no Annie is way left. It's not right enough. Hit and sit. That's a long putt. I think since you see that the resistor's in circle 2, you already know what has to happen. That's quite embarrassing. That is all 3 of the holes that I can miss on the back 9. I think to keep things extra interesting, I'm gonna save the time lapse last. 347, vanish. Big skip. Oh my. Longtime viewers of the channel are going to be incredibly surprised about what's happening right now. Hole 17 is a gap shot. I don't feel incredibly confident hitting it with the resistor. I feel much more confident with the vanish, which is just a dead straight to slightly overstable disc. So we're gonna throw a big flex shot that hopefully gets left of that mound, sauce up an easy forehand, take our birdie on this par 4. Skip hard. Yes. Thank goodness. Yes, it did. No, it didn't. Oh, wow. I thought that was around that tree, and then I thought I hit the tree, and then it was in front, and now I got a 20-footer. 500 feet. If I take more than one shot, I'm gonna be late. So we just got the time lapse. We have a little bit of right to left, which is not terrible because if I throw it high enough with enough turn, it's gonna hold against it, and then once it gets stable, it's gonna get a little bit of a lift. Birdie saves a time lapse, although I might need an eagle. We'll talk at the end of this round. Come on, find my timing. Okay. Yes. Push. Got to the hill. It's a nice little 460, 470 rip. I gotta make this. This is for all the marbles. I may or may not have cheated, you guys.
I missed my putt. I forgot to press record on the camera, but I missed my putt, so actually I haven't saved the vanish yet.
The vanish is not safe unless I eagle with a time lapse. The time lapse, I just need a birdie. It's either an eagle or a par, more likely than not. The resistor is truly safe. These two all come down to one putt. Come on. Oh, the time lapse is safe. 8 down is not a bad score with these. Vanish is going in that bounty bin. Thanks for watching. Snag these on infinitedisc.com. Every disc you're able to choose. Links for these will be down in the description, as well as my jersey and my signature disc. Sorry for keeping the suspense going, but the Vanish is on the table. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.